Okay, welcome. By the way, I am. Hello? Can we see the queue? Flip. Okay. I'm doing stream beats. As you can see, my queue, stream beats, stream beats, stream beats. Everything stream beats. Those who don't know, stream beats. Let's go to this one. I'll probably say copyright free music for your live streams. This is rock. This is going to be like synth wave. It's basically copyright free music. Is there an about section on this one? Copyright free stream beats by Harris Heller. Like they're basically copyright free, right? Anyways, so it's all stream beats. So I did play earlier. I played GTFO with some friends. Pretty fun. Gonna be putting that on my YouTube for sure. I am going to be going through some changes through the next couple months for sure. So I am doing a 2 PC setup. I have a laptop over here, which is connected to, this video recorder. It's also connected to my Razer capture card. However, it will sometimes bug out, and I don't know if it's a capture card. It is getting a little bit old, so I think it is. Got this chair, that snake pillow, and this, which was back in 2021. And Razer's site doesn't even have the Razer Ripsaw anymore. And I know, looking online, that there's people that have some of these issues popping up and stuff, so I really do think it might be that. So I've ordered a new capture card. It's like the Aver Media capture card. Seems to be highly recommended. Still love Razer. And then later on down the road, I'm holding off right now because, I'm trying to do a few things before I just start splurging, if you will. So then later, I am going to try the Beacon Studio, which is like a mixer. I can probably show it. That should be fine. I don't see why it wouldn't. So this thing, Beacon Studio, you can hook in a mic directly to it, but from what I've looked at, it should be able to also take the mic from your computer as well. So you don't have to hook it straight in, but you can. And the headset you can hook straight in as well. This one's also, the reason I wanted this one is because you can get this too, which is almost like a the Stream Deck, right? For Beacon, which I might get to try it out. It looks cool. It works in tandem with it, right? But the reason it doesn't necessarily have it, I think, is because this has its own cool little function. See if it even says it here. Okay, here it is. Up to 8 channels of clean digital audio between computers, consoles, and phones. So what it does is there's 4 channels that you can take from one computer and send to the other, and then 4 channels you can take from the other computer and send it back to this one. So I guess this is like the only one that really does this. Anyways, what that does is you can set up different things like a game channel, or so yeah, we're calling them channels, right? So you can set up 4 different things like system, game, music, and like one other from, like, let's say this computer, the gaming computer, right? So what I could then do is I could put music in the music, so like Spotify, right, or Pandora or whatever you use. Obviously, you'd probably want to use Spotify because you can choose what music you listen to and make sure it's make sure that you're not going to get DMCA'd or anything like that, because you don't want that to happen. Or I guess for some people you could use Pandora or whatever you want and don't care, because you can then set up where each of the channels go. So you can send them all to the audience, for example, but there's also a VOD one. So from what I saw, there was like 4 different places you'd send them. So to yourself, to the audience, to like something else, and then to the VOD. So you can be kind of streaming everything, but then once you end the stream and it saves the VOD, it'll only take the VOD version, which won't have the music, is how I understand it. Or whatever you deem not to be in there. You can also have alerts, which are generally in a 2 PC setup going to be from your streaming PC. That's going to have OBS, right, which is going to also have the alerts on it. So you can then have that go into the link in. So the ones coming from one PC are going to be named like system and all that, and then from the other is going to be link in 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you can have the alerts go in to link in or whatever you want it to be. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So you can share audio from both computers. So while I'm maybe streaming or something, if someone subscribed or send a donation or anything like that, generally speaking, I might not always catch it because the sound's going to be on the laptop and not in my headset generally. But with this, you can send it back and forth, and you can send like everything else maybe into like LinkedIn 3 or something, and then just take LinkedIn 3 off of the profiles, or like make sure it doesn't send to anything. So if this has anything you don't want to have, then you can just send it to like one of the other links, and maybe just say don't send it to yourself, don't send it to the audience, don't send it to the VOD. Just scratch all of this type thing, if you really wanted to, right? So this is why I want to get this. I'm not going to get it yet. Going to get it probably in a month or 2, maybe in 3. We'll see. Depends. Like I said, I have a few things I want to do first. But I think it is such a cool concept of being able to share audio. Obviously, you need the audio from your gaming laptop or desktop to go to the streaming one, but then to have audio come back to you is where it gets cool. So yeah, not yet, but I will be getting that. I am getting a different capture card, which will hopefully be better, because I already have a video on here that worked, playing 7 Days to Die. It worked for the first like hour or 2, or however long the video was, like first half of it, and then the second half of it, it had screen tearing to where the last the last 10% of the screen, like this is fine, but it's also shifted over, but then the last 10% of the screen is kind of showing the wrong side of the screen. It tore. It's hard to explain, but it just like ruined the last bit. And I might still try and use the VOD somehow, but it's also going to be hard. I might have to just cut that last half hour, however much it was, and just scrap it because it was ruined by the capture card just making the display go all skewed and not whole, you know. Okay, I am alive. Yeah. So there's actually a few spots in a couple of the videos where the video broke, kind of like I showed you with 7 days, where it tears, and it's actually more like 20-25% of the screen is off kilter, is on the wrong side, whatever you want to call it. But for the Risk of Rain videos, it only seems to persist for, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 minutes, and since Risk of Rain, I'm able to more easily like chop out sections and like go to more of the combat sections. You don't really see too much of it, but you'll see that in the Risk of Rain edit. But I have been, again, getting back into the groove of things, editing things, and I did get even kind of like a mobile little desk thing that not a desk, but like it's kind of a desk, and I can basically use it on couches. I could even, if I want to, on my bed, and it comes with 2 cushions, and you can put them side by side. They're not connected, so you just put them there, you put the desk on top, then you can put your laptop and everything on it. And so I've started doing that in the living room while turning on, you know, like anime or some video that I kind of want to watch, but I don't need really like full attention to it. Maybe like League of Legends videos or something like that, which are like interesting to watch, but I don't have to be like glued, you know, eyes glued to it and like paying attention type thing. Or anime that I want to rewatch, and I don't really need to full pay attention to it. Or even anime that I do kind of want to watch, but I've read the manga for, so I already kind of know what's happening. So I can kind of like half listen, half pay attention while I'm kind of editing. So been getting back into the groove of that, doing better. I have like 5 videos. This one is one of them, obviously an update video, as well as 4 others basically done. I just want to add some effects to them and kind of make them higher quality and start doing that for the videos going forward. Like I said, I don't want them to be kind of just like editing out different parts and then like shortening it, basically condensing it and then just sending it out. I want to also have videos where there's cool effects here and there. There's, you know, just more than just the condensed version of a VOD and sent to YouTube, right? I want more effort. And not all of them are going to be that way. If I have like League of Legends videos, I might not do any effects on them. I might just send them. They are kind of old, so I'll probably just do kind of more of a highlights reel of all of the League of Legends, just to get that kind of done and on its way. And then that way I can also use that in like, you know, an intro video in the future that I'm planning to make someday. We'll see when I get to it. But yeah, so again, this was kind of the update video. I did get the new capture card, the AverMedia Ultra Gamer like 2.1 or whatever, Live Gamer Ultra 2.1, whatever. I did get that, and so far the videos, from what I've seen, I haven't combed through them extensively, but from what I've seen so far, no issues. Everything's working fine. No screen tearing, no screen flickering or light flickering, no freezing, which happened in Risk of Rain, which you'll see in one of the videos as well. It screen tore, kind of like 7 days, but then fixed itself, and then a couple hours later it just froze, and the rest of the video is just froze, and you have the sound, but that's it. And again, that's going to be in one of the edited videos. The end of it will show that and go for a few seconds to show that it just completely froze. And you know, the last however long, I have it documented in my editing software so I can talk about it, but the last whatever I think it was an hour for Risk of Rain, and for 7 days is like 2 hours of the screen tear. Basically just ruined, because no one really wants to watch that. But the AverMedia so far worked perfectly. So I do think Razer Ripsaw HDMI was getting old, as well as Razer, I think, really only did that game capture card, maybe one or two versions of that, maybe at least that one that I have. And then I think they've gotten out of the game because, you know, they're ordering like the headset and the mice and the keyboard, and they probably just tested it and then we're like, okay, yeah, not working, I'm out. Also, sorry about some of the audio in this update. I was recording in MKV, and my editing software, I guess, is more experimental when dealing with MKV files, to the extent that when I was editing it, the audio would repeat randomly. So I'd like split sections and get rid of the ones I didn't want and stuff, and then I put it together, but then it kind of mess up the audio to where it'd be going, and then suddenly it'd jump back like 30 seconds in the audio and go that way, and it was just a pain to try and get like everything fixed and stuff. And then I kind of got it all like fixed and working in a decent fashion, but then the audio was still kind of like off kilter to where it wasn't matching my voice or my video. I guess it wasn't matching the video section, so the video was, I think it turned out to be like 6 seconds off, and there were some parts that I didn't want to cut out, so I just like sped up the audio a little bit, so it sounds a little funky. Again, I apologize, but I did switch recording. So once I finish the last, I think, 2 or 3 videos that I did in MKV in OBS, then it'll be in MAV or MP4. I don't remember which I put it on. The reason I did it in MKV is because if your computer randomly were to shut down or anything like that, it would have been basically saving the file kind of as you were recording, is what it sounded like. Whereas the MP4 or the MAV files, if it gets cut off somehow, like you accidentally alt quit the program, or your computer shuts down, or anything that kills the program before it fully shuts down the recording, fully stops it, the whole file is ruined. MKV, I guess, doesn't have that restriction, and so I could keep doing MKV or whatever, but then I'd have to convert it before I put it in my editing software, and that already is just not something I want to do. So I'm just going to try doing MAV and MP4 and stuff like that, because it is a laptop, so even if the power kills out, my laptop should last for, you know, a good while, so I can hurry up and just stop the recording and shouldn't have any issue. And then in the future, when I get some more of my desired like upgrades and stuff like that, so in the future, another thing I want to get is kind of like a power backup system that lasts for, you know, like 10-20 minutes or however long. So if the power kills suddenly, I won't have to worry about that. And that's part of my kind of NAS setup, because I want to make a NAS, and what that is basically like an external hard drive, but much better, really. It's hard to explain. But, you know, just to show real quick, it's this. It's basically, it will keep your electronics running. So surge in battery, surge. It'll basically make sure that they have time to shut down before you know, just because if your power surges, your power shuts off, whatever, it can, you know, damage electronics. So this, and I have another one as well. There are two of them. I think they kind of go hand in hand and they help each other out a little bit. But yeah, that is what I am wanting to get. And that'll help also further prevent any issue with using MOV and stuff like that. Even if the power goes out, I won't have to worry if I get a new desktop and that becomes my gaming one and this desktop becomes my recording streaming instead of gaming, or if my laptop gets old enough to where the battery doesn't last that long off of the charger, then that'll, you know, help to eliminate such concerns. Obviously those are further along than even my Beacon Studio, which, you know, I am tempted to even get sooner than I was planning, but I don't know. I'm still kind of battling it in my head of whether or not I want to get it kind of in the next like couple days, week or whatever, or if I want to, like I said before, hold off a couple months, because it will really help. Because right now everything's kind of going through the AverMedia as one unit basically, which means I can't really do a whole lot of adjustment with volumes. There's a little bit of adjustment I can do, but not a lot. And so it does make it a little bit harder to balance that, whereas having an XLR type thing like the Beacon Studio or an XLR or any of those would kind of solve that issue much easier and much more efficiently. So anyways, again, just this is the end outro, if you will, of the update video. Everything I think is turning out for the better now that I've got the new game capture card. A couple little hiccups, a couple little road bumps maybe with the next couple videos because of MKV, but once we get through the 5 that I basically have ready and just have to do some effects, this one and 4 others, as well as probably I would imagine it'll be another 5 or 6 that, well, I'll probably actually just render those out as MOV files before I start editing those ones, just make it easier. So yeah, once we get past these 5, it'll probably be much easier and much smoother going forward. But yeah, just letting you know. And then I am going to try and implement a few things going forward as well. And so it's going to be adding in languages. So Yonji Jukugo, which is like 4 kanji phrases, kind of like idioms or sayings or, you know, proverbs, you know, type thing. It's kind of like that. So you got like Iseki Nicho, which is like 1 stone, 2 birds. You know, get 2 birds with 1 stone. Junin Toiro, which is 10 people, 10 colors, meaning everyone's different. Really love these. So we're probably going to just try and implement some of that as well as other languages. So I have this from my junior high days. I think it's from my junior high days. I took German in junior high. Love it. Super fun language. But, you know, going to implement languages, I think, going forward. Trying to make it a little bit different. More of my personality into it. Not just gameplay, but more of me as well. So, hope you like it. Let me know in the comments if you think that, if you are excited for that, or any thoughts, maybe even any ideas of how to even better implement that. If you think that's, like, if you're excited for the language type things, you can add ideas of, you know, maybe ways I can implement it to make it really enjoyable. Maybe I could even implement it to where I use it a couple of times throughout gameplay, right? So I'll randomly switch to like German or Japanese for the word or phrase of the video or day or whatever. Yeah, hope you enjoyed, and going forward I should hopefully be doing more videos. I'm going to right now just try and do super simple, okay? 1 or 2 videos a week. That gives me time to edit them more in depth, give more effects, as well as start working on editing the next batch, right? Because I have to condense them first, and then I can maybe look into the effects part. And so now that I've got kind of a system per se, now it's kind of trying to figure out the effects and trying to come across effects that I like, make effects, and just, do some fun things like that. So trying to dive into that. But yeah, hopefully enjoy, and going forward, hopefully should be much better, because I think it's been a year almost. It's been like 2/3 of a year, close to a year since I posted last. So big fail in some ways, but should be better going forward. But yeah, peace.